Okay, good morning, colleagues. Thank you so much for joining me once again uh, in this lecture on advanced object-oriented programming using Java. I'm your host, Mr. Chimanga Kashale, and I'm going to be with you throughout this journey. So what I would urge you people to do is to be objective and feel free to ensure that you participate in the learning process. And we should also know that my kind of delivery is basically learner-centered, not teacher-centered. As a result, I expect you people to participate. I expect you to feel free and take part in the lecture. We'll be doing quite a lot of practicals. We'll be uh, giving you quite a number of labs in this course. So you have to be prepared and ensure that Eclipse installed on your machine. But in case you want also to do your programming using Android Studio or anything, you could also feel free to go ahead and use that. With that said, now I'd love to introduce you to how the course is going to be conducted. Um, I've been with you, and you understand how I operate. So again, as per policy, we have the CL 40, and now this CL 40 is going to be divided into the following sections. We'll have assignment, which will consist of 10 points. Okay, then we are going to have random. Okay, and we expect 10 points also coming from labs, or maybe even we could have more than one lab. Okay, meaning this 10 point has to be equally distributed. Then from there we are going to have a test. Again, this test is going to have 10 points or 10 marks, and this is what is going to be a part and parcel of our continuous assessment. So expect you people to take part in the in the in the assignments in the labs and so forth. So you have to take part and ensure that everything you participate in everything. Then the final exam will be out of 10, out of 60. So you're expected to ensure that at least you earn yourself some good continuous assessment points so that you are not disadvantaged in any way when that time comes. Okay, so with that said, I'll take you straight to the uh, the module that we are going to start looking at, and we will see what we are going to cover. Okay. Okay, we will look at we'll look at inheritance. Okay, we'll look at inheritance. This is gonna be our first our first lecture. Okay. Okay, this is what we are going to cover in this course. This topic on inheritance. So we'll look at the inheritance in terms of the basic introduction. Okay. Um, Sorry, I'm just trying to share the screen with you. Just trying to see how I can share the screen. Okay, so again. Okay. Stop sharing. I want to share now a different screen. Okay. Yeah, so we'll look at inheritance. Now, if you look at this, we have we'll look at the basic inheritance, the introduction, then look at the member access and inheritance, and using the super keyword. We'll also look at creating a multi-level hierarchy, then the aspect of method overriding, then we'll also look at the dynamic method dispatch, then using the abstract class. Also, we'll see how you can use the final keyword, okay, with inheritance. So like I said, this we need first to understand the concept. Once we understand the concept, then this is a lab that we are going to do. Okay, this is a lab that we are going to do. But before this lab, I'm going to run you through uh, the basics of inheritance. Okay, the basics of inheritance. So when you actually look at the inheritance, we are saying in Java, inheritance defines and is a relationship between a superclass and its subclass. So in a class, in a Java program, we could have a superclass, which is a parent class, as well as a subclass, which is a child class. So now what we are saying is that the subclass could inherit the features. In this case, we are talking about the method and the other aspect from the parent class, such that when you want to use some of the features or attributes and so forth of a parent class in a child class, instead of you having to recreate them again, these you can just come up with a way in which these can be inherited by the child class. Okay, so this means that An object of a subclass can be used wherever an object of a superclass can be used. So class inheritance in Java mechanism is used to build new classes from existing classes. So inheritance, in short, you are saying you are trying to build new classes from the already existing classes. Okay, so the inheritance relationship is transitive. If class A extend class Y, then a class Z, then a class Z which extend class X will also inherit from class Y. So this is what we are going to practice in our lab. Okay, first I would want to take you now to the module that you are going to look at. Remember, this one is the practical lab on Java inheritance that you are going to do after the lecture that is on inheritance, as you are going to see shortly. Uh, okay, so this is inheritance now that we are going to discuss. Like I said, after we look at this module, then we also go straight to try and attempt that that lab which is provided there. First, it's better to understand the concept, to understand the basics of inheritance. Now, in this context, we are going to cover the following. We're going to look at the definition of inheritance. Okay, we look at its definition. We need to understand inheritance, what it is, before we could even think of implementing in action. Okay, then we'll be able to look at single inheritance. Okay, we have single inheritance, multiple inheritance, multivariate, and so on. All those are types of inheritance that we are going to look at. Then there's also, we're going to look at the benefits of inheritance. What are some of the inheritance benefits? Okay, what are some of the benefits of inheritance? We'll look at this. Then we'll look at the members access rules. What are the access rules for you to be able to access the members of a particular class, the members of a superclass, or the members of a subclass? What are the rules that you must be able to apply? Then you have to look at the superclasses, the aspect of superclasses. Then there's polymorphism. Okay, polymorphism, where a method or a class appears in so many forms. That is an aspect of polymorphism. Then We'll also look at the method overriding as well as method overriding. So these are more critical aspect of Java programming that we are going to consider. Okay, then we will look at how we can use the final keyword with inheritance. Okay, then also the abstract classes as well as the basic the base class object. So this is what we are going to cover. So definition. Inheritance, what is inheritance? Okay. So inheritance is the process of acquiring properties, okay, by the subclass or from the superclass. Okay. The subclass just acquires properties, okay, from from the superclass or a base class or a parent class. So I'm talking about, in this case, we are talking about a child class inheriting features of a parent class, just like in a normal setup where we inherit certain features or properties of our parents. So that is inheritance. So now, very important here, we are saying when a child class or a newly defined abstraction inherit, okay, its parent class, then all the properties and methods, okay, of the parent class becomes the members of a child class. So we are saying if a child class inherits, okay, any feature from the parent class, then it means all the properties, including methods and so forth, that are defined in a parent class would definitely be part of the child class. Would definitely be part of the child class. Now, in addition, child class can add new data fields or properties and behavior method, and it can override method that are inherited from its parent class. Okay, so in short, what we are saying is that when a parent class, when a child class inherits certain properties and methods from a parent class, then it means it will have all these in place, and then it will have to get all the properties and methods, okay, of a parent class. Everything has to be inherited. Then, beside it being able to have this its own uh, to inherit these properties and so forth, then we are saying the child class can also have its own fields of properties and behavior or method. So beside the method that are inherited, a child class can have its own methods. Okay, it can also have its own method as well as properties. So it can override methods that are inherited from its superclass. So all these can be overridden, and probably um, had you just had some few other properties beside the inherited ones. Okay, so now very important here, under inheritance, the keyword extends is used to define inheritance in Java. Okay, so take note of this. The keyword extends is used to define inheritance in Java. And the syntax is as follows. Okay, so this is the syntax. We have class, subclass. This subclass extends superclass name. Okay, so this is the syntax for inheritance. So just give a subclass name. Okay, then you use the word extends. You put the superclass name there, and then you have the body there, depending on what information you want to um, communicate out there. So now the aspect of inheritance, single inheritance. So we are saying derivation of a class from only one base class is called a single inheritance, where from just one class you derive another class. So this is what is known as derivation of a class from only the base class, okay, up to, okay. So derivation, single inheritance, where a single, we're saying a class from only one base class is called a single inheritance, where you have just A there, B. So I'm saying we only have B is actually inheriting the features of A. So a class A begin members of A. Class A being a subclass, a superclass, okay? Class A being a superclass, while class B is a subclass of class A. So we use the word extends. So you can say class B extends A. Okay, class B extends A. So it means all members of B are there. So it actually gets all the members of all the properties and behavior from class A, and then it makes use of them in class B, and then it also adds its own members. So we have class A there, so class A, then class B, class B extends class A. Okay. So that's single inheritance here. So we're proving a single inheritance here. Okay. We have two class, and B is a class, or what you are calling, this is the class syntax. That's a base class. So I'm saying class A, then class B, okay, extends class A. So everything that is here is actually, that is in A, is inherited here in B. And of course, B can have its own B can have its own properties as well as behavior. So this is a single inheritance. Okay, we have a class here. We're creating a superclass like we had class A. This is an example. We have two properties there, int I and int j. Int I and j. Then we have one method called void show ij. Void show ij. Begin. Okay, we're saying ij. Okay, I and j is the same as the I concatenation j. Okay, so that is parent class called A, and in this parent class we have two properties, which is the O of value integers. We have 1 and 2, and then we have I and j rather, and then we have one method to show I and j. Okay, now we come to class B, which is a subclass. So we are saying class A, meaning it's only inheriting features of a parent class which happens to be A. Okay, so B extends A. So here we have int K. So you can imagine, at least don't forget that in parent class, in the parent class A, we have properties such as int, such as j and I, which are all part of class A. Now these have been extended, these have been inherited. So I'm saying class B, which is a subclass of class A, extends A. Class B extends A. So now what are we going to do? So here you find that we've rated a variable called called K. So by virtue of us using the word extend, it means automatically int I and j is actually visible in the subclass, or is inherited in a subclass. Okay, it is very much inherited in a subclass. Okay, so you could see here we have one method called the show k. Okay, and here we are printing the value of k there. Then you void sum. We're trying to print. Okay, we're trying to print and call the values that are in a parent class, but we want to access them in a child class. No wonder we are using the word extends. Implementer, we create two objects. Object one, super object, which is equal to new A, and the B sub object, which is equal to new B. Okay, new B. So super object J and I are initialized with values. Okay, so we've created two objects, A and B, and here we are putting values in both of these objects. Okay, so we've assigned values to these objects. So the subclass has access to all public members of its of its superclass. Okay, so we have all these objects 7, 8, 9, and so forth, which have been created from the superclass. System.out.println content of sub object. Okay. So now when you print this, you expect to see these subjects. Okay, so this is the output. Okay, this is the output that has been derived from the above program. Okay. Okay, we'll continue on looking at the benefits of inheritance. For now, I'll give you a chance to check your machine and ensure that you have Java JDK pre-installed on your machine, because this is what is going to be used in coming up with uh, reliable programs where you're going to participate fully in the current study. So you need to ensure that you have Java JDK. Okay, you have how to help you in terms of marking and so on and so forth. Okay, so once you get to install the programs, then you are going to start now running the practicals. So for now, we'll end here. I would urge you to try by all means to first install Java JDK and then install Eclipse, and then we'll pick it up from there. So this is just the introduction that I thought of sharing with you. I thank you.